Hi all, welcome to our panel discussion. Welcome to Miara. What is Miara? It is two women who were nearing our 40s, who have had kids, and suddenly we found that there were changes to our health. And we were wondering, okay, what next about our health? And we started looking up, and we had no clue where to look, what to look for. And this took us down a rabbit hole of looking up information. And that's how the whole concept of Miara began, that we want to give you health information in your post-fertility needs. So specifically, I'm Gayatri Muthukrishnan, and Sanjana Rao is my co-founder. We both are scientists who forayed into science communication, looked up health information. We are also women who just wanted to help other women gain the same knowledge that we gained from what we were reading. And today with us, we have Richa. She's our marketing strategy advisor, and she has been helping us for the last couple of months. Both Richa and Sanjana are on this call, and if you need any help, you can contact them. And we also want to thank many other people who have been along with us on this journey, friends and family, and they have helped us in many different ways. So coming back, Michelle Obama said, communities and countries and ultimately the world are only as strong as the health of their women. At Miara, we want women's health to be understood by all so that women and thereby the whole society can lead healthier lives. Our mission is to be a friend through a women's health journey by raising awareness and empowering them to be in control of their own health. And our 4 focus areas are general health, gut health, mental health, and fitness. And we think there's a lot of crosstalk between these 4 focus areas. And only a holistic health and well-being can be created by talking about all 4 health areas. The way we want to go about it is by giving information, connections, and solutions to all 4 focus areas. So, for example, in information, we have science and evidence-backed blogs, social media, interviews, webinars. Here are a couple of our Instagram posts on fitness. We have, in terms of connections, we have a close community on Facebook. We have a WhatsApp community where people can discuss their health issues. We are also open to free discovery call that you can find out how Miara can help you. And we have solutions in terms of, sorry for this slide, but we have solutions in terms of products, diagnostics, and experts, because there are lots of new tech products that are coming up to help women. And women need to get information about this so that it can ease their lives. For example, for diagnostics, there's a new breast cancer screening that can be done at home. And it is pretty cool. And we would love to give more information about it if you would want. In terms of experts, for example, our fitness expert is Anupama. And she will talk more today. And she will also tell you about a fitness session she's going to conduct next week. So moving on to today's session, staying fit and cruising through life. We have a very exciting panel with you, 4 amazing women who have been quite inspiring even just through this process of putting this panel discussion together. Anu, and they will introduce themselves during the panel discussion. I will just give a brief about Anu. Anupama Gopal, she's a lifestyle and fitness coach. She's a Pilates master trainer, and has trained in Lolita San Miguel, one of the living Pilates elders in Florida. She has also trained with wide array of renowned Reebok Global Masters. In turn, she has trained hundreds of participants and is a presenter in various corporate forums. As a coach, she finds the role of fitness and its impact in everyday life extremely fascinating, as we'll hear more about. And the Reebok Step program has been her long-term personal favorite, but right now, apparently the iron bug has hit her, and we'll again hear a lot more about it in this next hour. Before I hand it over to Anu, a couple of small things. So from all the discussion we've had with these women, we have got a lot of aha moments. We have realized, oh, is that so, or is this so? So it'll be great, the participants, if you get these aha moments in your head, if you want to just type it out in the chat, it'll be fun to hear about it. And secondly, like I mentioned, questions, we will have some time for you to address your questions, but you can also post it in the chat and maybe we can take it up at a later time. Okay, thanks. Over to you, Anu.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Gayatri and Sanjana and the entire Miyara team for having all of us together this evening. I mean, leading up to this evening itself has been very, very exciting, I think, for all of us, the Miyara team and the three other women that we have. The three girls here, we go back a very, very long time. We've known each other from through fitness, basically, and outside of it as well. And I think the one common thing that holds us all together is, we have lives outside fitness. And we've always wondered, every time we've met over coffee or any such thing, we've always wondered why fitness is so overrated. So hopefully, like Gayatri mentioned, over the next 45 minutes or so, you will get to hear how these women have actually managed to keep fitness as part of their lives for such a long time, and also go with their journey and their stories of what it has meant to them in this time. So the introductions in no specific order, we will just begin. And before I do that, I'm very, very happy and to have so many of you on this call. You've taken time off on a Sunday evening to be with us, and I hope you find it worthwhile for yourselves. So there is Rekha Sudarsan, there is Dr. Monica, and there is Lata Ravikiran. Three people, you will hear a lot more about them and their journeys through menopause and fitness over the next 45 minutes. So the first question that I have for the three of you in no specific order, how old are you and what do you do? Dr. Monica, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'm Dr. Monica Chitnavis, and I just turned 52 months ago. And yeah, I've been practicing Ayurveda medicines in Chennai for the last 20 plus years. So, and of course, I'm into fitness, and it's a journey. So I wouldn't say I'm a fitness icon, but yes, I like to do it every day.
Right. Thank you, Doc. Rekha?
I'm going to turn 49 in a couple of months rather. I'm a marathon runner. Even my signature on my email says that first, and then comes my profession. I'm a clinical psychologist and I specialize in maternity and infant care. What's very interesting about what I do is I deal with women all the time. So I think I'm with women, and so that really makes I won't even call it my job. I love what I'm doing because I'm always with women. I'm into the perinatal fitness part of it. I'm also a lactation consultant. So I deal with maternity and infant care.
Thank you, Rekha. Lata.
Hi, I'm Lata and I'm from Chennai, India. I'm 50 years old. I turned 50 last year. I was with the Hindu and English language newspaper for around 12 years till March 2020. And over the pandemic, I've been involved in community service, a bit of social activism, a lot of gardening, some freelance copy editing, a couple of fitness certification courses, and more recently, I've become a partner in a design and concepts firm called Ameya.
Lovely. So if you notice, all of us are women who have many things to do, and you will soon find how we have sort of brought in fitness to be part of our lives. So all of us, I think, we are gathered together to understand what menopause is and what stage we are in. So my next question to all of you will be, where in the spectrum of menopause are we all? Lata, you can go first on that.
I will complete 1 year in March. I started, it was last March, is what I remember. Yeah.
Okay. Rekha?
Okay, so I think I'm much senior to many people here. I went into the menopause phase as soon as I turned 40. So of course, I'll talk about it later. I did come up with, it did come up with a lot of surprises, but yes, almost 8 to 9 years into it now.
Okay. Doc?
Yeah, so as far as I go, I had an unfortunate history of going through a hysterectomy myself 2 years back, and I was literally pushed into it, which also threw me off my feet, because I was not expecting this coming up, as I was trying to help a lot of other people with their problems. So yeah, so I have a different journey with menopause. Yeah.
Right. So that's the interesting thing, right? No two journeys are the same. And however much we think we plan for the next decade of our life, or the next 5 years of our life, or we think we've got everything sorted, there still is a distinct difference between two women and their journeys in the menopause spectrum. And I think that's very significant in most of our conversations today, right? So we'll start with you, Doc. Now that you've had to go through hysterectomy, were your symptoms any different from someone who has been through a menopause journey in the biological sense? Did you have any specific symptoms that you would like to speak about that was sort of derailing you?
Yeah, so I feel when people go through a physiological menopause, their body gets a little time to adjust. Their hormones, don't go through it as suddenly as it happens in hysterectomy. So it was a little more challenging for me because there were a lot of things which came up suddenly, which I was again taken, not expecting it to happen, which was the biggest thing which women don't want was the weight gain. So how much ever I tried to, keep that in check, I still was always battling for trying to keep my weight in check. The second thing which came up in 6 months' time was my hypothyroidism, which I am still trying to get it under control with only exercise, not trying to be dependent on medicines. And yes, of course, the hot flushes and all those things were there, which even other women go through. Yeah.
Right. So it's fairly similar in some ways, right? Even if you do undergo hysterectomy.
Yes.
Okay. So there's something that's similar between you and Rekha. So Rekha, would you want to go next to talk about how it has been for you?
Yes. So the thing is, when I turned 40 in April 2013, I think by May or June, you go through these period cycles which are very close, and you have a lot of bleeding and all that happen. The only answer, though I am into this field of obstetrics and gynecology and all that, the only thing that kept coming back was probably because my mom got her menopause very early. So I kind of used it as an excuse initially. But then a couple of years from then, I think somewhere around 2015 or 16, I had a very bad attack of thyroiditis, so which is a subclinical issue. So the thyroiditis was a big shock that happened in Jan 2016. And the FNAC is the fine needle aspiration that they do. And it was just a freak one, I was just talking to my husband, and I was just, stroking my neck, and I found a lump here. It was as freak as that. And then I go back to the clinic, and then I talk to this doctor friends of mine, and then they said, why don't we just get a, scan done? And then scan led to a biopsy left, and it came out malignant. But I knew it was a subclinical issue. So, and I have a very good set of doctor friends and I have an excellent endocrinologist who's also a very good friend of mine. So she said, it's just a subclinical issue, so nothing to worry about. But the only thing that they kind of, threw the red flag on was I might land up with a autoimmune disease, either Hashimoto's or whatever. So that kept bothering me the most. And I think that's when, though I've been into fitness for quite a while then, I took it up seriously, which I'll anyway talk in some time. But the thyroiditis was a big thing. And the other important thing about the menopause is the injuries that it can cause, because the estrogen hormone going down so low. Right. And especially being a runner and all that, I landed up with a 3rd-degree hamstring tear. Then I landed up with a calf strain. Then I landed up with a stress fracture. So one after the other just kept coming. And I knew it was all because of these hormones playing topsy-turvy there. So these are the things that I had to handle. Yeah.
Right. And if anybody is listening to Rekha's list of injuries, don't be frightened.
Yes.
Rekha is a mad runner, so she ends up with injuries with or without the hormones. So let's ignore that part of what she said. Lata, you?
So I had no symptoms whatsoever. Okay, so my transition was very smooth. It was so smooth that I didn't even notice it. That's why I was like thinking, when did I actually start?
Did you think you were pregnant?
Yeah, I mean, like, even that wasn't possible. But anyway, my periods, my periods were a little more, at the most, I think they were just a little more frequent and just a tad heavier for a few months, barely for a few months. And otherwise, I just found the whole experience extremely manageable and uneventful. I thought there was something wrong. But
Right.
I haven't had periods for like 1 year now. So I suppose I'm in menopause. Yeah.
Okay. So my next question really was about, I mean, when we all go through that phase from menstruating regularly to sort of, having some sort of symptoms in perimenopause and then actually having menopause. I'm just curious to know, did any of you seek help? Because I remember when I went through that phase and I did not have my periods for 12 continuous months, I went up to my gynecologist to ask, if there's anything that's needed to be done in terms of supplementation or with hormones or any such to sort of, keep us in good health. That was really my question, because there were really no symptoms that needed to be taken care of. Now, did any of you approach a professional for such conversations? Rekha, maybe you?
I had to, Anu, because the thing is, again, the work environment kind of, puts you in that slot. Because
Right.
we keep dealing with, perinatal, then, postnatal, then perimenopause and menopause all the time. You
Right.
kind of get these, you get your antennas up when these things happen. And especially with, cancer being very prevalent, both my maternal and my paternal side, I definitely had to seek help. And of
Right.
course, I have my obstetricians in my clinic. And yes, I had to go through a hormone replacement therapy, which is a couple of months. But then
Right.
I just quit it one day. I just said, forget it. I'm just going to deal with this the way I know best, and it's not with medicines. And my obstetricians were very, very cooperative with the whole thing. So I think it's a teamwork that happens.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so one has to be compliant with the other. Then I think the journey becomes very, it's a very smooth journey then.
Right. Doc, you? I
Yeah,
mean, considering
so
that you yourself are a
Yeah,
doctor.
so yeah, since I am from the medical profession and my mother happens to be a gynecologist, so I did not have to go anywhere else seeking for advice. But the only thing that she told me was just calm down and everything is very normal and natural. And if you take it in the right spirit in a positive way, you will just be able to handle all these hot flushes and all those other things very naturally. So
Right.
that is how it helped me, and it was really a very good advice, I think so.
Hmm. Lata, considering that you did not really even understand that, how the transition happened or when it happened, did you wake up one day and look for some sort of professional help or advice to even look at how you can deal with this whole new phase in your life? Did you feel the need?
I didn't feel it because it sort of comes back to fitness. I automatically assume that because I have been working out and I was doing yoga very regularly, even the cramping, all of that had stopped. And
Right.
I do my annual medical checkup, and just when that happened, they have their usual questions. I mean, the gynecologist appointment is literally 5 minutes. I'm in and out.
Right.
It doesn't take
Hmm.
any time because if they find all the scores okay, they just send you packing. And she asked me, are you okay? And what's so I have an app, of course, which was tracking my, and that's how I even knew that I hadn't got my period for that long.
Right.
And
Right.
it seemed fine. I mean, I do all the tests and I have all the scanning done and everything, and I just felt I'm not going to poke around something that's okay. So if
Right.
that's okay, then I'm not going to stress about it. There's no need, right? So
Okay. Fair enough. But the one question, since we're all talking about menopause, I have this one question that I'm very curious to ask all the three of you. We hear so much about women in perimenopause, menopause, where, they have symptoms which change the way they look. People lose hair. You start looking older, right? It's a biological change that happens. There are hormonal changes in the body. And a lot of us seem to be chasing a rainbow at that time. There is a sense of insecurity that creeps in whether we like it or not. In that context, did you ever feel the need to approach anyone for any sort of help? And that's really what I meant when I was talking about, seeking professional help. Did you want to go ask someone whether you can manage your hair better or skin better or the muscle tone? I mean, since all of us are into fitness, loss of muscle mass is one critical thing that happens because of the changes in hormones, right? However hard we try, like Dr. Monica just said. Did you feel the need to speak to someone about this?
Shall I go first?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, so I think, one thing I forgot to say is probably sometime during, I don't know, July or June 2020, when the pandemic and all was happening, is I broke out in, in zits, I mean, what's acne along the jawline. So I knew it was a hormonal change. And that's when I realized, okay, there's something going on. And
It
at
could have
that
been
time,
the mask.
Sorry?
It could have been the mask.
Perhaps, but I also tried to correlate. I thought I correlated it, with the menopause thingy, and and we couldn't go looking. We couldn't even consult doctors at that time because of the lockdown. So I did this online consult with a dermatologist out of Calcutta, and she literally saw me on video and everything. She said, "Okay, yeah, this is because you have menopause and stuff. Have this medication and you'll be fine." So I just, I went on some meds to balance my hormones for about, I think, 6 weeks. I forgot about that. Yeah, 6 weeks. And that was that. I mean, apart from that, I just didn't seek. I mean, I just do a lot of natural things anyway. So I feel that that's just come in. Like I get up first thing in the morning, I have warm water with honey. It's not honey, but lemon. I'm vegan, so no honey anymore. So just lemon, warm water. And I don't know, I don't go seeking for help because I feel there's nothing going on.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Rekha, you?
I didn't seek any help in that way because, I mean, very similar to what Lata said. I think I've been into a lot of this natural stuff from the time since I remember. Now, I don't even remember the last time I put soap on my face, to be very precise.
Right.
I just have cut my basin and curd, and I don't forget to moisturize my face. So I think
the things that
things
people
really,
eat, you put on your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's anyway the joke, happening around in the house anyways all the time. So, but I think that really, helped in one way. And I think regarding the muscle tone, I think the strength and conditioning that I'm so keen about, I think that really helped. And that also helps keep your skin and, things intact. So I think that really helped me. Yeah.
Very
Sure.
true.
Doc?
Yeah, so since I have been advising a lot of people a lot of things, I thought it's time that I start taking care about myself. And I could also see some changes. So I started doing a lot of all these things which Rekha and Lata were saying, and using a little more of Ayurvedic products on myself also. And after my hysterectomy, I got back to fitness quite quickly, which also really helped me with all these things. So I did not have any issue with the muscle tone or things like that.
Right. Yeah. So now we've spoken a bit about menopause, our journeys, and how we've managed through it. Now comes the critical part of what we're discussing this evening, the fitness, right? Now, my first question there will be, when did you get into fitness? Rekha?
I got into fitness in 2003. After I delivered my second son in 2001, I think the classic thing of I'd taken a sabbatical from work because my boys are just 1 year, 8 months apart. One 99 was born, the other was 2001 born. So the typical classic case of I wanted to lose weight, as simple as that. I was weighing, almost 84 to 85 kilos, and I wanted to lose weight, and that's why I got into fitness. So that's my journey. I started my fitness journey in 2003 only because I wanted to lose weight. As simple as that. Yeah.
Right. It's been so long, Rekha, isn't it? Such a long time. We'll speak more. Lata, you?
Yeah.
So I got interested in aerobics in my early 20s, and I always liked being active from my school days, but I was not exactly crazy about it or very sporty, for that matter. But I do wish I had my current obsessive mindset back then, though. I wish I had played a lot of sport and everything. I became more conscious of fitness when I lived in Australia in the 90s. And ever since I've pursued it quite actively, after I came back to Chennai and everything in some form or the other. Now
Right.
it's an inseparable part of my life. The only time I don't work out is if I'm on a long distance flight. And even then, I go to a quiet part of the flight and do some yoga moves.
Wow. Doc, you?
Yeah, so for me, it started because I realized that sitting in the clinic, and I used to advise everybody that you all should exercise every day, follow this, and make all kinds of lifestyle changes. And I realized I'm not doing anything for myself. And it was a typical, stereotype thing that, okay, managing the family, having small children, where is the time to do all this? So that is when I realized that between the consultation hours of the morning slot and the afternoon slot, I have that lunch time. So I started going to the gym then, because in Chennai it's quite warm to do any outdoor activity mid afternoon. And so I started doing that, and then slowly one activity led into another, and it was like, finding yourself, finding your interest into new things. And
Right.
yeah, it's been, I think maybe 15, 16, I mean, maybe more years that I've been doing something or the other.
Right. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it, to talk to three women who've almost been doing this for about 2 odd decades. It's just absolutely fabulous, guys. I mean, and that I know the three of you for such a long time, and it was fitness that brought us together. I think it's absolutely remarkable. Now, while we say that, I mean, I have found the three of you so inspirational, and I've told you this many, many times. Leading on to that is how have you been able to keep it up for this long? I think that's the one question that I have, and I'm sure many in the audience have as well, right? So we'll go from you, Rekha. How have you managed to do this for this long?
I think once you make it as a lifestyle change, I don't think you need, any push from outside. But I, for
Right,
one, believe that fitness is something that has to come from inside. Nobody can force
right,
you to get into the fitness part of it. Then it becomes very temporary because the results that you see might just be a spark. And then once you lose, I mean, once you achieve what you want, for example, if because I lost weight, if I just stopped being into this, I don't think I would be where I am today. So I think
right,
the whole thing is very intrinsic and it has to come from inside. One, two is I mean, I don't want to, sound, I mean, it's not a cliche, but generally, initially, for a woman, especially after giving birth to children and all that, somehow they feel guilty to get into the fitness part of it. I've seen this over and over many, many years, especially dealing with postnatal mothers. They somehow feel that it's wrong, literally wrong on their part to leave the babies behind and go out and do something that's there. They think it's very selfish on their part. But I think the most important thing, what every woman has to understand, which I understood very early in my life, is one, you respect your body, two, the family respects you when you do that. Okay.
right.
And yeah, and I don't want to sound as a feminist, but I think happy, healthy families always revolve around happy, healthy women. Mentally, physically, they have to be happy. So it
The
really
world
matters.
revolves around happy
No,
women, doesn't
no,
it?
it actually helps. I mean, it just matters a lot. So that
Yeah.
way, I think that way that I could sustain, and I'm still sustaining because I've made it as a lifestyle change, and not a day goes by without going for my run or doing my strength and conditioning. To the extent that I have a flight at 8, I'll get up in the morning at 3, go for at least a 45-minute run and come back. Okay, so
Right.
that's and I plan my day around that. I even oil my hair, go out for a run and come back so that, the oil is soaking
You're
in my
ready
hair
to
at least for
wash
two,
it.
3 hours. Yeah, no, 2, 3 hours it soaks. So, this is how my life, this is my day starts, as simple as that. Of course, the wordle is coming now, but anyway, even otherwise, my day starts with that. So it's very, very
Right.
important that nothing, COVID, lockdown, nothing stopped me from doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I've shifted to the online version now to do my strength and conditioning, but the run still happens 3 days a week.
Right. Doc, you?
Yeah, so I think it's just about setting your priorities right, and the bells have to ring in you. You cannot, wait for somebody else to motivate you. And if you are determined, you can do it. And I think it's as simple as it's like taking a bath every day. So
Right.
do you not take a bath every day? You do. So it's the same way. You have to do some form of exercise, something. If you can go out, that's the best thing. If you can't, try and do some yoga, something at home, something online. And so I have been trying to do that. And so I think it has helped me. The other thing I also try to do is not letting anything at home suffer. So if 6:30,
Right.
otherwise I would wake up and start doing for the whole family something at 6:30. Prior to that, I make my time for doing my own activities, so that 6:30 I'm there for everything, and
For the
my
family.
whole day goes as scheduled. Yeah.
Right. Lata, you?
So you spoke about our meeting several years ago, and I have to say that meeting you, Anu, and having you as my aerobics instructor from, well, more than 15 years ago was a very significant part of my fitness journey, because I became more aware of the importance of, good form, of my own capacity to do high intensity training, plyometric exercises, which I never thought, I was capable of, and of pushing myself without making excuses. And the group experience was great, and it was actually very difficult when you stop the classes. So, and I was not very much of gym person. I was like more this jumping up and down, what's that called, jumping jacks type of person. But I got myself into strength and the machines and all that, and I kept going through and found other aerobics and Pilates classes, and I also attended yoga. I took to running. Then I learned
You
to
now play
swim.
a sport.
I played badminton then. Then I started playing tennis last September. And my next thing on the agenda is, to learn to join a fight club to learn kickboxing, because I like kickboxing. But as Rekha said, it's about managing your time. I go to bed by 9:30 because fitness is like seriously my first priority in life. Like if I don't do it, then everything just goes down the drain. So go to bed by 9:30. I'm up at 5, and I get the exercise out of the way. And if it's tennis, it's tennis. Otherwise, I do my daily workout. It's either strength or cardio or yoga or whatever. And it's
Right.
basically negotiable. And it's not always easy to be this dogged about it, but I've realized that I'm the only one responsible for this, and I have to make the time.
Absolutely.
And also, I don't have
Right.
kids, so I make it easier. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
have
so
a
that's the thing. Sorry. Yeah, guys. Or Sanjana.
so like Lata mentioned the various fitness she's into. We just wanted to check with Dr. Monica and Rekha, what is, when they say fitness, what do they exactly do? Because this is a question from the audience. What is the fitness
Okay.
that they do?
Okay. So, Sanjana, and so I run. I'm a marathon runner. I've done 15 full marathons till now.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I'm a marathon runner. So, I run thrice a week. Of course, I have a coach who gives me a schedule. And I think when it comes to running and when it also comes to fitness, I think if you are a social person within quotes, a group helps. So I have a group. I'm also a founder member of a group called Dream Runner. So we have a group, and the thing of somebody else is also going to run with you. So we have partners, so that helps. The other 3 days I do, 2 days I do strength and conditioning, and one day I do yoga. And I've also joined a Bollywood dance class now because I wanted to learn some new skill, and I realized that I have two left feet. So I said, let me just get this out of my list. I'm going to check this out. So I've joined a Bollywood class, but that's also, I wear my Garmin watch even then. Initially, for a couple of days I wore, then I said, it's going to be fun. It's not the early morning routine, it's an evening one. So just chuck the Garmin watch and just go enjoy and come.
Go and
So this
have
is my
fun. Yeah.
fitness routine. Yeah. So this is my fitness routine now.
Yeah, so my journey started with the gym, and then when in the clinic one day, one of our clients came by and said, "Are you interested in cycling? Because we are starting a women's cycling group in Chennai." And I had cycled a lot in younger days, going to school, college, everywhere by cycle. And I said, "Why not?" So I took to cycling, and I realized this is a lot of fun, more than the gym. And so I started cycling, going places, going 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers, looking here and there early morning, good fresh air, getting to meet a lot of other, fellow cyclists, seeing runners on the road. It's a different energy levels in the morning times here. So doing all of that, I realized that I wanted to take part in time trials and trying to be a little more ambitious about cycling, wanted to be an endurance cyclist. And so going down that journey, I realized that there were these duathlons which were happening in Chennai. And I did not, it's not I did not know how to run, but I was not trained enough to run. And so I had once called Rekha. I don't know if she remembers that. And I told her that I want to get trained for running to be a part of the Dream Runners group. And she said, oh, yeah, why not? If you're a cyclist, just get on with the training sessions. And we're going to have this, we're going to train all the new people to run 10 kilometers. So I joined that, and then I did the 10K running, and then I did take part in duathlons also after that. And then I got to be very friendly with a lot of runners and cyclists, and we used to have a lot of socialization. So I realized that they used to all dance and do all kinds of things, and I did not know how to dance so well. So I thought, why not learn Zumba? And I had a few clients also who are Zumba teachers. So with their motivation and inspiration, started learning Zumba. So putting all of this together each day for everything was a challenge, but yeah, I really enjoyed doing it, and I am doing it.
Absolutely awesome. Now, the three of you make it sound so unreal, actually. I think we need to step out a little bit. Like Rekha, you were talking about making that lifestyle change, and we keep saying this to people. Doc keeps saying it to everyone. Make these changes, make these lifestyle changes, and so on. So, but it's not easy, right? Although we know that we need to make certain changes, it does not come easily to us. As a country and culturally, we are not into sports and fitness like Australia is. Like Lata was mentioning, she went there, got inspired, and came back. I want the three of you to actually talk about one or two things that actually was difficult in this journey. While your journeys itself are truly very inspirational, I think it'll make it a lot more real if you're actually able to talk about one or two things that were really hard for you to do. It could either be your own inhibitions or lack of motivation, or something about the family situation that was making it difficult for you. So if you can share that and also share about how you overcame it, I think that will make a lot of connect with some of the women in the audience. Rekha, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so the problem that I faced was I went overboard about the whole thing. So that's one thing that I would really, I mean, I also tell these women who come and seek my help on this. I went overboard. I started doing too many things related to fitness. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would finish your aerobics class in the morning, then come back home, finish cooking, then go back to the gym, then again come back, then again in the evening, go for a run, then come back, then go for a stroll in the night. So I think that to pull, you should know where to draw a line.
Draw the line.
But yeah, like just like anything else in life, I think when it comes to so what happens is, if you don't know when to pull back, injury is one part of it, no doubt about it. But the other thing is, you kind of you'll give up on it at one point of time. Yeah, so too much of anything is not good, and too much of fitness is also not good, because you're not going to do anything right. You're just not going to do anything. Neither was I doing my running right now. So somewhere I had to literally, one of those days I just sat down to introspect what I was doing, and I realized that I was doing too many things, and I was not doing anything right. So that's when I pulled back, and I said, these are the things that I'm going to do. Choose the ones that I really feel good about. And even that, I was running 5 days a week, so I cut it down to 3. And then strength and conditioning, I said, let me just concentrate on what I want to do. I'm just not going to go to the gym and just keep doing some machines and let me have a process in place. So these are the things that to me was very difficult to pull back. I'm a typical type A person, and for me to sit down, so that's why yoga really helped me. Helped me calm down, helped me kind of settle down a bit. And then I started thinking about, it's not about the age or anything. It's about, when that bell rings in your mind to tell you that what you're doing is not right. So for me, that was a problem.
Right. Doc, you?
Yeah, so for me, it was a little more of being too clued in with the family. It's not that they were holding me on, but I also wouldn't let go. And I wanted to do my duties very right. And my husband used to always travel. My in-laws were with me. My children were small, 2 girls, and I wanted to do everything for them. I did not want to fall short anywhere. And so I was sleeping on time, waking up on time, getting everything sorted out for them, and going to the clinic, heading the clinic, doing everything there was the biggest challenge. But somehow I think things just went by, and I sort of learned to manage, and I got a little support from my family also. My mother-in-law did support me in these things, because she used to be very proud after I came back cycling, and with a medal. I used to
Right.
show it to her and she was very happy about it. I did have very cooperative neighbors also, because they used to give my girls, you know, sometimes breakfast when I would come back late from a cycling event or something. So yeah, those were the challenges that I faced.
Lata?
I don't have anything significant to actually say, except that, probably when I was going to the office on a daily basis, it was sometimes difficult to keep the fitness routine in place. I would have to take calls in the middle of a workout, and at times I would have to leave the gym to attend to something urgent. But overall,
Right.
I basically did not allow anything to affect my fitness routines. And I think people around me knew that. They knew that they
Right.
couldn't disturb me. So I don't have any significant story to tell, actually.
This is significant enough, Lata. My next question, really, I mean, we've heard your stories about fitness and how it's actually helped you physically. My next question is about, has fitness ever helped in mental health? I mean, today we are talking so much about mental health. In the last 2 years, there's so much spoken about it. But has fitness really helped you in your mental health journey? If there is any specific incident or experience you'd like to share, that would be fabulous. But overall, in general, has it helped? Doc?
Yeah, so I think it's a big stress buster for me. And if I
Right.
don't do my bit of exercise in the morning, I'm not mentally, I tend to lose my cool sometimes. And if I do my fitness, I'm much calmer. I have a lot of patience to listen to people. I can deliver
Right.
better. So I think I'm a mentally balanced person to take on, whatever comes my way throughout the day. So that is
Right.
that is the only thing I look at, and I love to do it. Also, it controls my hunger for some reasons. I don't know why I have found that link. So if I exercise, I don't eat unnecessarily, but if I don't, I tend to, open things here and there and tend to eat more than what I should be eating. So I
Right.
definitely think it's a stress buster.
Right. Lata?
So, as you know, I love talking about fitness forever with fellow enthusiasts and learning things from them. And I have a very small but a significant network, and I don't share any of this on social media because I like being low key about this. Um, but I have, for instance, I'm learning to do pull-ups. I find this the most difficult thing that I've ever learned, and I have this young long distance friend who's literally coaching me from there, and he says I have to send him videos, and he says, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. So literally, like, he motivates me and helps me through this. And about a significance, so I'm pretty obsessed about getting certain things out of the way, and it just helps me feel good, I think, on a daily basis. But if I have to
Right.
talk about
Right.
significant experience, I went through a personal sort of an emotional traumatic experience for a few months in 2018.
Okay.
Right through it, I just refused to give up on my regular fitness regimen alone. I would barely eat. I mean, I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else, but I wanted to show up every day and get my routine out of the way. And I feel that really contributed to my mental health. It kept me sane and grounded and balanced. Otherwise, I think I'd have lost it completely. But
Right.
yeah, I attribute fitness to
Right.
that.
Absolutely. Rekha?
So for me, fitness and wellness together, I mean, I think they intertwine. So yes, the mental health part of it is hand in hand with the physical health part of it.
Right.
So all the endorphin hormones, all that I mean, technically all this you can talk about, but I think it's very meditative. For me, running is it's my ikigai. So to be very precise, so that's how it is. And then it's really helped me because every time I finish a run, I mean, I'm not talking about a 5 or a 6. When I finish a full marathon, it's more like the win of the mind over the body.
Right.
That's a big the kick that it gives you, and you know that you can face anything. Because every
Right.
time I run a marathon, every time I run a marathon, I keep telling myself I'm not going to sign up for one more. Okay, but I finish, I come back, and I sign up for the next one. So I
Right.
know that, and this is how it is. Okay, and the mind just plays games. on you.
Right.
And then, things like, for example, when I was doing the, Chicago marathon, and then you hit a wall, right? At one point of time, you hit a wall, and I wasn't feeling well also at that point of time. And around the 38th, I did around the 32nd kilometer, I told me just 10 more kilometers. So I did a simple interest calculation in my mind, and I said, okay, it's from Besant Nagar to MRC Nagar and back. No, it was not Besant Nagar to MRC Nagar and back. It was much longer than that. Okay, but to know, because every time I do the 10 kilometers, I've been doing that for ages, the same route. So that's the thing that you do in your mind, but that's not the way it works when you do that. But when you finish and then you come out, you feel so good because it's a literal win of the mind over the body, And I think the first win happens when you get up in the morning and get out of the bed. Anu.
Right.
Of course, people like us who are fitness enthusiasts for so many years, I don't think we have a challenge like that. But even we go through those phases where you don't want to get up, your bodies, you do listen to your body many times, but there are times when you just go, but when you finish and come back, the win is so good. So I think that's that mental strength that it gives you, other than just being very meditative, and it's my time, it's me time. So I think that really is.
Absolutely. I think that's what it is, right? So when we have fitness today as such an integral part of our lives, it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time. And therefore now, because we stayed with it, it's integral to what we do. Has there ever been a training break because of demotivation for any of you, Lata?
I had a break only because I actually injured my tailbone at the gym while doing a leg press, and that's because the trainer was inattentive, And then that's literally had me in tears, not because the injury was very serious or something. It was a very small trauma, but it was very painful. The tailbone is a really painful place to hurt. And I went to, physiotherapists and doctors and everything. It only helped to a certain extent, and I didn't want to get hooked up to machines and medication and stuff. But there was one thing that the orthopedist said which brought me back to track, and he said, because I had a break of 8 months, and I was so depressed because I was scared to do anything because I thought I'd injure myself further. But then this happened in 2017, and then what I did was, so this doctor just sort of casually said, just work on, strengthening your core again, and you'll be okay. And that just set me off because I focused a lot on core training, and then of course the strength training and everything. So I do that diligently, and I got very, very deeply into yoga, and I realized that all that has helped me so much. I mean, I have to I wonder about that tailbone injury now, but apart from that, as a break, I don't think I've that was like a forced break I had to take, but I haven't taken. I don't feel demotivated. The only thing that keeps me going.
So that was the question really. So injury breaks, I think, happen to anyone who's been training so hard and for so long. But the question really was about, sometimes people do take a break because of an injury and never go back to fitness, right? That gives them a chance to actually lay off it completely. So you obviously were waiting to come back, and you worked on yourself to come back. Doc, did you take a break from training anytime, other than, of course, illness, surgeries, injuries? Did you feel demotivated any time that you took a break?
You're on mute, Dr. Monica.
Sorry. So I have not had a break per se, only 2 times, which was one because of the surgery and once because I had hemorrhagic dengue. The dengue took a long time. I had signed up for a marathon and I couldn't go back, and I felt very bad about it. But after the surgery, it was quite fast. I got back within 2 months, back to cycling and all other activities. So other than that, I have always kept doing something or the other because I had lot of things which I could go back to. So either yoga or walking, running or cycling. So I have been doing something or the other.
Right. Rekha?
No, there's no way that I've taken a break. And I don't think my family, especially my husband Sudarshan, would let me take a break because I become very crabby when I don't. So I think I think it's a very selfish motive that. Absolutely. So he's like, why aren't you out of the house? I mean, why aren't you going out? Because they know what's in store for the day, the boys and my husband.
Right.
But even during the injury, when I had the 3rd degree, second degree hamstring tear, I used rehab I use rehab as, yeah, that's it. So some exercise I have. So rehab was my exercise. That's it. So I even told the physiotherapist, I said, that's all. He said, madam, for this tear, that's all. I said, why didn't you give me something else? So, so that's how I treat fitness. So I've not taken a break, and I don't want to take a break either.
Yeah, so Sudarshan, Rekha's husband, I must tell you, I mean, so she used to be out of the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. She travels across continents to run. And the family actually used to think that she's a crazy woman. Dr. Monica, she arrives for her rides. She wakes up, God knows at what time she arrives for her rides at the start point at about 4. Her family would have actually written her off. And Lata is another crazy woman. You've all heard the kind of things that she does. But it's so interesting to know that the families today gather around all these women to give them all the kind of support. And Rekha has actually reached a place where Sudarshan pushes her out of the house because he wants her out of the way to be a better, happier person when she comes back. So it's actually been absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? The entire journey of fitness for all of you. How much more time do we have, Gayatri, Sanjana? Because I don't have a clock that I can.
We have 5 minutes, but we have some questions from the audience.
Okay.
So if you can wrap up, then we can just take these questions from the audience.
No, we'll take the questions if there are, maybe, and then I will have one final question for all of them.
Okay. Okay. So one of the questions related to today was, how has the fitness helped you through menopause specifically? Is there any connection between the fitness and the menopause journey?
I think all of them spoke about it. So Rekha can take the question.
So it boils down to the hormone changes that happen, and the best medicine for the hormone changes is some kind of a fitness regime. So the menopause, I'm sure Dr. Monica will add more information on that. But because the estrogen hormone really comes down a lot, the the bones and all that can become brittle, and we do can land up with some kind of an osteoarthritis or an osteoporosis very early in life. So in order to, and obviously calcium oxidation, so all these chemical changes can happen. So for that, fitness is one of the best things that we can do, because it's not just about exercise. See, when you get into the fitness part of it, you're also very mindful about what you're eating. I think that plays a very, very, very major role, because it's like, when you see your Garmin watch and you know that you've probably burnt around 500 calories, you're not going to come back and have a cheesecake and spoil the whole thing, because you know that you've spent so much of your energy running there. Okay. So when you become mindful of your eating, as Lata said, even your sleep. So I think it's all related. It's like a triangle. Good sleep, nutrition, and exercise. So these 3 things put together. So the fitness comes with all this. It's a combination of everything. So this combination definitely helps you get through the menopause part of it. The transition becomes very easy. Yeah.
Right. Doc, I remember you and I were talking about just this, and can you recall that conversation, Doc?
Yes. And also at a mental level, I think it's a smooth transition, because you don't get into all those depressive modes, and you don't get all those, you're not very moody. You can handle it very calmly and patiently and take on the changes of menopause very easily. And the rest, I think Rekha has already added.
Yes, but the one thing that Dr. Monica told me when I approached her for, we talk, and I said, Doc, what do you think about HRT? Of course, I was someone who did not have symptoms. The transition was, like Lata mentioned, I did not know what happened. So she said, while you are anyway training, just go and train. That's all that she said, because that plays such a huge role in the entire transition process and in health post-menopause. So I hope that answers or gives the person and the audience that perspective. The next question.
Yeah. And the one question was, when you say yoga, do you really mean meditation or yoga, exercise-based yoga?
Exercise-based and meditation.
Both together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there. There's something that I follow. I mean, I've just taken this question. Sorry. I mean,
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's also related to what was asked earlier, right? And as Rekha said, it's very holistic. You eat simple, you eat right, you get your rest, you're actually sorted if you just work out a little bit. I mean, I think we shouldn't make a big deal out of this. It's actually very simple. I think today there's a lot of hype around fitness and all of that. Forget about it. Just stick to, the basics and you'll be okay. Do what you're familiar with and that should be enough. And
Right.
there's a very I was not a yoga person at all because it was too sort of slow and everything for me. But then I have embraced it over the pandemic because I had to stay home and work out. So I had to try all sorts of things and it really helped my back health. Back health is super important. Hamstrings, we all have tight hamstrings because of modern life. The hip openers are very important. I think all this really helps in having a very great transition experience to menopause. And just uh, some of the simplest of yoga moves are just enough. You don't have to do headstands and shoulder stands. I mean, I don't think I'll ever try a headstand in my life because I'm too scared. So then, just simple yoga moves, more than enough. 15 minutes. If you wish, Gayatri, I will even send you a couple of links that I follow every single day of my life. And I feel it improves my form and every other fitness regimen that I follow. I do something and I say, hey, I'm actually able to reach farther. I'm actually able to bend a little more. And I wouldn't have been able to do this for 10 days, but from the 11th day, it's so much better because you're making your body do this every day, single day. It's a beautiful thing. And I think I'll share that link with you if
Yeah,
that's okay.
that'll be great. Yeah, thanks. There are a couple of more questions, but what I will do is let's just wrap up because we are
Sure.
1 hour is up. And whoever wants these questions whoever has asked questions, if you can stay back, we will answer these questions in the next 10 minutes. But right now, Anupama, you can ask the last question and we will wrap up with some comments.
Okay, the last closing question really for the three of you has been, is there any comment, or I won't even say advice, but there's anything that you would like to leave all of us with, just one or two things, and wrap up your entire experience with menopause and fitness. Just a couple of things for all of us. Rekha?
There's nothing to complain about because we all signed up for it, right? I mean, as simple as that. I mean, you get your periods, then you get your menopause. As simple as there's nothing to crib about, there's nothing to complain about. Yes, for some people the transition is smooth, for some people it's a little rough, but I think we're all we're all kind of tuned to handle this well. So there's no point in sitting and cribbing about something you really can't change. This is a transition, and I think it's also. I know many women don't like to hear this, but I think this is one way of aging gracefully. Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah. Whatever age the menopause hits you, I think it's not that you're aging. It's just that it's just a phase that you just handle it and you just go on. The life is not going to come to a standstill. There's so much more to look forward to.
Yeah, true. Lata?
So yeah, I have two things to say. One is never limit yourself and don't be an ageist at all. You are only as young as you think you are, and build that body, right? It's you build it because you can build it at any age. And second is, I think this is seriously the key which I have learned myself because I stopped relying on an external instructor to push me and to motivate me. I think the key in being fit and in leading a healthy and a mindful life is to be consistent. Make sure that you show up every single day for your fitness regimen because you're worth it and you will see the results in no time, because you can't expect a lot of results by just doing it like twice a week or something. You need to do it like 5 to 6 times a week for the results to show in about 4 to 6 weeks, and then there's no stopping you. You'll just not get back from that.
Doc, you?
May I say something, please?
Sure.
May I say something, please?
Sure.
We are three women listening to the broadcast. We are all in our 7th decade. And I would like to say that menopause is very liberating. You don't need to worry about it. And it's very comfortable for us. We are Sanjana's 2 aunts and 3 aunts. We are all in our 7th decade. And 1 mother and 2 aunts, I should correct. And I want to say that we've not exercised every day. We've not gone to yoga classes. We haven't done any of those things, but we are all very healthy people. And I don't think that it's only exercise that helps. It's also your frame of mind. So I just want to say thank you. It was a lovely, very lovely session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Doc, you want to finish with
Yes.
those?
Yeah, so I feel that every woman should do some form of activity, some kind of physical activity. It could be a walk, it could be anything that she likes to do, because she is the motivating force for her family. And if she
Right.
sets right some benchmarks for the family, then they will also learn when they are small. And especially
Right.
it could be boys, it could be girls. And when they later in their life, they could make a change for their families. So I think it is very important that every woman tries to do something. And of course, consistency is the key. She should try and look out for some like-minded people. Once she sets out of the house and starts, even if it's walking, she may find
Right.
somebody else who's a regular, walker, and then they could get together, and then that is the motivating force every day to be there.
Right.
So,
True.
yeah, so I think that is important.
Right. So thank you very much. I think the three of you have been absolutely honest with your experiences. You've been honest with whatever you wanted to share. And it's been such a delight speaking to you all over again. I mean, we speak on and off, but it's been a while that we worked out together. It's been such a pleasure and so inspirational talking to the three of you. Thank you for making time for us this evening, and all of you in the audience who stayed on the call for such a long time. To listen in. I hope you found it inspirational. I hope there's been something out of this conversation that will motivate you and will give you a perspective on what it is. This whole exercise was just to share, we're just conversations of three women who have lives like anyone else does, but they have gone on to make fitness such an integral part of that life. And I think if there's anything that we want to take back, I think it's just that story of how to make fitness, like Doc said, anything, from just walking every single day, but do it on a consistent basis. We will all be immensely benefited out of it. So over to you, Gayatri and Sanjana.
Yeah, so thank you so much, ladies. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I am surely inspired, and I'm definitely going to do something about this. So thank you, Rekha, Dr. Monica, Lata, and Anu for conducting such a beautiful session. But just to give you a little bit about, for those of you who weren't here in the beginning, Miara Women, who's conducting this webinar, we're a health platform, and we recommend, or we would love if you connect with us on Instagram, on WhatsApp, or on our Facebook group. The link is in the chat below. And just to find out more about what we are doing, and just all about our products and our services, you are free to book a 15-minute discovery call with either Gayatri or me. Yeah, so we're going to have a very exciting session coming up next week, and we would love it for the future seminars if you would invite a friend and spread the word about Miara Women and what we are trying to do. And now I would again give it over to Anu, because next week we have an extremely interesting session, and I think she'll be able to tell you more about it. So I'm going to let her do justice to this.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjana. So next week, I think it's Saturday, right, Sanjana?
Yes.
Yes. So please do make sure that you come over for the session. It's a trial session. It's movement based. So we will do a little bit of cardio. We will do a little bit of strength. We'll do a bit of Pilates. It's just to give you an idea of what it is to experience, how it feels to move. So this session, come with wearing whatever you're comfortable wearing. If you are used to wearing fitness gear, do that. But it should be something that allows you to move. Get a mat and a bottle of water and a towel. That's it. So just come with an open mind to experience a session. If you're already someone who's been training, you will still find it exciting to work out with a bunch of people. I so look forward to seeing you next Saturday. So that's really what we're going to do. It's to give you a little bit of insight into what Miara has planned in terms of a workout sort of a program going forward. This will give you a bit of insight into what that is.
Great. So I think I'm hoping a lot of people on the call join us next week. And if anybody has some specific questions, I think the panelists are going to be here for 3-4 more minutes. If you have any specific questions for them, they'll be willing to answer. Yeah.
There are a few questions here that were asked earlier. So
Okay.
I don't know if they're waiting. One is how to lose the post-pregnancy belly fat. It is Rekha, do you want to take that? Or is that any
some of
exercise?
it. I still have some of it, so I think. So, I'm sure. I mean, I think the food plays a big role here, more than anything. As I said earlier, I think we just have to be mindful about what you're eating. Yes, I mean, a couple of things when you get out of your list. I think it really helps in reducing the belly fat. It's not about the 100 crunches that you do. Please don't go by any of that. Not one single crunch will help you lose any kind of the belly fat there. Okay, so it needs to be a structured approach to the whole thing. Food plays a major role here, and of course the core exercises, the core strengthening, and there's nothing called spot reduction as such. Yeah. So I think it's more of a holistic approach to the whole thing that helps. And right. Any postnatal mother who comes and talks to me about it, I always tell them that you've taken almost 40 weeks for that little one to grow inside. Give yourself at least another 40 weeks to get into some kind of a shape. So don't expect. So the most important thing about this whole fitness journey, whichever juncture that you're in, to have realistic goals. So I think that kind of helps more than anything.
That's nice. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's very significant. If someone is getting into a fitness journey in their 40s, don't expect to look like a 20-year-old. You look the best that you can at your 40. That's how it is. So you're your own benchmark. And for the earlier question, like Rekha mentioned, spot reduction is not possible. So you did not gain weight just around your abdomen, right? You have gained pregnancy weight, and that's going to take time to shed. And there have been biological changes as well. So nutrition plays a very, very critical role, and activity plays a critical role as well. So if we could just wish for flatter abs and toned muscles by just sitting, I think we would all have the best looking bodies. But unfortunately, no. So it all takes effort and work. And I think we need to be in it for the long haul.
Okay. Thanks. One other question is, what will be your take on taking out to fitness regimens after 60? So this is a question for the other end of the spectrum. What is the fitness regimen for after 60?
Yeah, so like I think all the three of them mentioned, there is no age that is too late ever to get into any sort of activity or fitness. Right? And whether you are starting fitness when you're in your 30s or starting it when you're in your 60s, we always say start by walking. So just because someone is 20, we don't say come to the gym and do a 100 kg deadlift. So the protocol will be the same. You initiate the activity and then you progressively start loading your body. Right? So if you're starting something new when you're at 60, then we need to find out what is it that your present condition is in terms of strength and flexibility, mobility, and so on, your history of injuries, your well-being, your health, so on and so forth. And then you're good to go. You start by just doing something consistently. Start by walking 3 times a week consistently. Set targets of how much you're walking. Now, the thing about walking is this, and not that I don't like it, but the way it's practiced all over the world, especially in India, is this. That's taken as an opportunity to just be out of the house for some time. You're either on the phone or you're talking to someone. So if it needs to translate into anything meaningful for us, you need to work in a training zone, right? So those are the things. But yeah, you're good to start when you're 60, 70, 80, anytime.
I would just like to add something here, just to what Anu said. Yes, walk is one of the best things that they can start with. And the other thing is, my in-laws live with me, my parents live close by, and I also put them on a structured training program now, okay, to do some weight training. So very mild weights. They can even use a water bottle and do, because the bone density and the bone health really plays a big role here. So I really don't want them to have any kind of a fall and get hurt, because we know constantly we keep hearing about hip fractures and things like that. So it's very important that, even if you're over 60 or over 70, but do some kind of a weight training, but with an instructor around. That's my only.
I was waiting for that key word from Rekha,
yes.
because what happens is sometimes people just take one part of what is being said. Oh, Rekha said strength training, so let's all do strength training. But if you notice, Rekha is the one who's got that structured program, and I'm sure she's also monitoring them. So we say walking because there's very little that can happen wrong with walking, right? But anything else, strength training is absolutely fabulous for anyone to get onto because the benefits are huge, especially as we age, right? The bone density needs to be maintained. Please try and get someone to write a program for you and do it under supervision, especially if the activity is new for you.
Great.
And one last question, which is not necessarily ready about fitness, but it's because I think Lata and Rekha mentioned some home remedies. The question was, what is, according to your personal experience, helps as far as home remedy is concerned to help balance the hormones and control excessive bleeding? And maybe Dr. Monica can also pitch in here with her Ayurvedic experience.
See, this Lata and Rekha did home remedies for your face. They put kadla maavu, tair, nehi, pal, and everything on your face. I don't think they did anything.
No longer. I'm vegan. I don't do any of that anymore. But I do. I basically stick to basics. I think basics is just important. Less oil, sugar, and all of that. Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's, I think it's more of going back to where we all started. The vegan, and it's all about keeping it very simple. I think that makes a lot of difference. About having, I know it's very tough to talk in an era like this to have structured time to eat. You have a time to eat, you have a time to sleep. I think it really helps. So when I talk to my sons have also got into fitness part of it, probably because me and my husband, everybody's into it. They're also doing some weight training, a lot of weight training. Now, my son will just come and kill me. They just showed his biceps just recently. So he does a lot of it, almost an hour and a half he spends on training. But I also find that just to put this in perspective, these are guys who are eating junk food and all that. Okay. But now they've got into fitness. He's coming and telling me, saying that, are you using olive oil now? Okay, is it coconut oil that you're using? Please don't use any of the refined oil. It's not good for health. So I think it's literally going back to basics of keeping your priorities very simple, especially when it comes to your food priorities, food preferences. If you can keep it simple, it actually helps, not just with the hormones. I think it helps with any kind of changes that can happen. Right.
And if I may add, before Doc talks about this, technically, I think in today's world, we are spoiled for choices in terms of food. There is food so easily accessible and available, and anyone is able to afford, to order things. I'm so surprised people actually order tea. I mean, I'm saying make your tea at home. If you cook, you will know what ingredients you're putting into it, and you'll actually be a bit more mindful and watchful. You're just ordering everything from outside, and you don't know what junk you're actually consuming. And that's actually one of the biggest reasons for weight gain, and even youngsters. A lot of young people are putting on more weight because they're just forever eating stuff from outside and not homemade. It's my 2 cents, but I think it works if you just keep it simple.
No, it makes sense. Yeah.
So I would always advise that everybody should have a pattern to their eating food. There has to be a set time, more or less here and there doesn't matter, but it can't be very erratic. It should be a well-balanced meal, whatever suits your, type of cuisines or whatever it is. And exercise should be an integral part. Anything, it could be right from what we've spoken in the last 1 hour about all of that. And there should be a pattern to sleeping also. So the people are, sleeping at odd hours, waking up at odd hours, eating at odd hours, and everything is hayway. So if there is a pattern to everything, I think it will all set in place. Yeah, we'll be all a lot more healthier.
That's true. That's very interesting because I guess even as animals, everything, they have the circadian rhythm. I mean, I'm talking about it more from the science perspective. You have a circadian rhythm, and the body has, even the hormones have a rhythm that it has to follow. But as humans, we have learned to go beyond it and kind of destroy that pattern. And then we expect our body to not react to it.
Cope with it,
but our body is reacting to it by showing in terms of symptoms, I guess. So I think it comes back to following the patterns and the cycles of the body.
Right.
And I hope you'll all follow us on Instagram and join our Facebook group and WhatsApp.
We can have more of such discussions.
We can have more, yeah, we can continue our discussions and have more of such discussions there. But really, really thank you to all of you. And I would like to clap for all of you because you were really inspiring. And I'm very, very happy that we got to meet you and hear your stories.
Yeah, we should also thank the Miara team for having us here.
Yeah,
I hope we have
absolutely.
more such discussions also.